Cyber Uncut. Discover the changing face of business, government and national security as Australia navigates the cyber revolution.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Cyber Uncut podcast. My name's David Hollingworth. I am the deputy editor of Simon Uncut.
Oh,
I've renamed the podcast like that. What do you think, Bethany? Uncut?
I think that's a good name.
You are listening to Cyber
Yes.
Uncut, and I am joined by Bethany Alvaro, our journalist. How are you, Bethany?
I am so good.
Good week?
Good. Busy week, but very good week.
But I hear you had a great night last week because you saw Nick Cave.
I did. I was like right on the barricade. He was standing in front of me the whole time. Like I held his hand a few times. It was the sickest thing ever.
Bethany has shown me some of the footage and she's not lying.
Yeah.
Like
He
reach
was
out
literally
and
like
touch
right
a
there.
god of Australian music.
100%.
Yes.
Of all music, not even just Australian music.
Yeah,
It was
very
insane.
cool.
It was so cool.
I didn't do anything quite that cool.
No.
I just stayed at home. Didn't do much at all.
That's cool as well. You know? Everything's cool.
Everything's cool. I like that attitude.
Yeah.
Here's something that's not cool that you've reported on over the last week.
Ooh, good
Stealing
segue.
stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Also, I
Stealing
love your
is not
headline
good.
for this article, taking more than just a pen,
Thank
rise in
you.
data theft from outgoing employees, calls for strengthened security. So
I
what
thought that was
what
good as
exactly
well.
is happening here?
Yeah. So Mimecast came up with a bit of a statement, sort of just reminding people that as the new year time comes around, there's a lot of changes in employment. You know, people getting hired and fired, and as they're leaving companies, they can either purposefully or not purposefully basically commit cyber theft.
It's interesting to realize that, you know, just shoveling some files onto a USB stick and walking out is
actually
in fact a cybersecurity incident and is data theft.
Yep, fully. So they just came out and were basically saying that it is more common than it like you think, and that employers, no matter even if they created the data, you know, they feel a sense of ownership towards the work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it isn't.
It's not theirs because it was done
theirs.
on company time.
Exactly.
It's not yours, it's the company's.
Yeah. So they were basically just warning employers that they should be doing things like strengthening their security, establishing clearer workflows, and making access to information revoked quickly after someone is leaving a job. The CTO for Mimecast said that January has always been a time of change for businesses and workers themselves. Unfortunately, that natural churn offers an opportunistic window for departing employees to take sensitive data with them, either unintentionally or maliciously. Organizations unprepared for this data theft season risk serious data exposure, loss of competitive advantage, and costly breaches. So it's more than just USB. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, and I've heard many stories of like sales staff, for instance, leaving a job with all of their leads. So they can immediately hit the ground running the next job and just call it the same people. But that's not really
You can't
their
really
leads.
do that.
Mind you, on the other hand, you know, if you look at a job ad for a salesperson, often it's like, and bring your own leads.
Yeah.
Well, where these leads come from?
Yeah.
Another company.
The company.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So it's a bit of a messy one. Obviously, there are people that do it with a malicious intent and like maybe I don't know if criminal intent is the right word, but with
intent,
with
they
intention
know what
to
they're
take
doing.
it.
They know that they are grabbing that data, they're taking it with them, and they're going to make use of it.
But it can happen accidentally as well.
Oh,
and that's
easy.
like kind of sad because I'm like, oh.
All it takes is, you know, so, I mean, I often forward stuff to my personal account.
Yeah, that's what they say not to do.
Well, hello. Yeah, do as I say, not as I do.
True,
but it's also one of those things you don't think about,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And it's like a sneaker net. Sometimes it's just easier to email yourself something to work on at home rather than access it through
or like
the
take a
the
work
normal
laptop
network.
and all this
Take a
and
work
that.
laptop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
So
it's interesting. I've been in jobs where I've been told, okay, David, it's a bad time for you, but we're letting you go. And they march you out. Like they watch you pack up your desk.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Doesn't happen quite so much anymore.
Yeah.
But 10, 15 years ago, especially
like the
in
cardboard
print
box.
publishing, where, and this is like very, very specific to print publishing, you might be aware of, say, the forward features list, you know, the next 6 months of features that are going to a mag that your sales guys are going to be selling on. You know, that's actionable market intelligence. And you're not allowed to walk out of the company with it. You might have access to sales data or Google Analytics or things like that, which a competitor might want to know.
Yeah,
so
true.
you are marched to your desk, you're watched while you pack up your little sad box of your little action figures,
your little plant hanging out fully.
books you've finished reading, your plants, and then marched out of the building to make sure you do not take anything. And often by the time you get back to your computer, your password's been changed completely.
Oh my,
so
that quickly?
Yeah. So when people are serious about that, that's kind of what
serious.
that looks like.
Yeah. Wow.
Very serious to make sure that doesesn't happen. And of course, we know that sometimes it's not just on purpose, but actively malicious too. That whole insider threat scenario.
Yeah, true.
I'm guessing you've probably not seen that much in your early career.
No.
We're your first job, aren't we?
A first full-time, proper job, yeah. Other than that, it was retail warrior.
Where I guess you just walk out with stuff off the shelf if you really want to.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it was a jewelry shop, so it was like
super,
okay,
you really could walk out with stuff off the shelf.
It was like super, we had a lot of security. What's the word?
You really
structures,
would.
I guess, yeah.
Speaking of security, that's a great segue into our next piece. Now, this is something that was written by Dan Croft. He has he's normally on this podcast. He has he's got a bit of a lurgy, so he's staying at home, and so he doesn't infect the rest of us. But here's one he wrote about a new feature in WhatsApp. What are we getting?
So it's strict account settings, which is a secure messaging environment for more restrictive user experience, is what they said. So in a statement, WhatsApp said, at WhatsApp, we think that you should be able to have private conversations online just like you would in person. We will always defend that right to privacy for everyone, starting with default end-to-end encryption. So they also said, but we also know that a few of our users, like journalists and public-facing figures, may need extreme safeguards against rare and highly sophisticated cyber attacks.
Yeah, and so WhatsApp has been dealing with this now for a few years. An Israeli spyware maker, they're actually having a legal case against Pegasus, I believe, who was using WhatsApp to spy on journalists and other figures. And it's pretty common that if you're a journalist or a politician or someone involved in civil society, as they put it, that people want to know what you're saying. And WhatsApp is often targeted.
Yeah.
But I really like it. And the features are really interesting, actually, because it includes being able to block media and attachments from unknown users, silencing calls from unknown callers, and removing link previews. All of this is stuff that is going to make it harder for a malicious actor, whether it's a spyware maker, whether it's a hacker, what have you, to actually get inside that conversation.
I'm surprised that stuff wasn't already there, to be honest.
Well, I mean, WhatsApp always positioned itself as being relatively secure, but not against the face of such targeted activity.
True.
So I guess they're getting very, they've probably been working on this for years.
Yeah.
True. I would imagine, especially with their case against Pegasus. They're catching up with Android. They launched advanced protection mode.
Yeah.
Apple launched lockdown mode. So it's about time WhatsApp caught up with that.
True.
I think they said strict account settings is one of the many ways we're working to protect you from the most sophisticated of cyber threats. We've also rolled out a programming language called Rust behind the scenes to help keep your photos, videos, and messages safe from things like spyware. There we go.
Yeah.
So you can share and chat with confidence. Do you use WhatsApp at all?
I don't. Oh, actually, I have before whenever I'm overseas without my family.
Oh, you use WhatsApp?
Yeah, because I don't want to pay for like the data messaging. I'm like, that's money that could be going towards
the trip itself.
The trip.
I completely understand that.
I use WhatsApp for whenever I'm overseas.
Yeah, we've got some of the cyber and defense team. We've got a WhatsApp chat going, and absolutely when you think about the stuff that we chat about, I'm really glad that we've got extra security on that now.
Maybe the US Department of Defense might be using this one. Maybe it won't get leaked this time.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they could be. All right. We are going to take a short break and we'll be right back with some more cybersecurity news and crimes. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Cyber Uncut. I'm David and you are?
Bethany.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You so far, so good. All right. So before we get into some crimes, and there have been both here in the ANZ region and overseas. So here's some good news that popped up today, actually. The New South Wales government has just launched its new cybersecurity strategy, officially called 2026 to 2028 New South Wales Government Cybersecurity Strategy. And this is interesting. One of the things I like about this is they're focusing on this 2-year rolling plan. The idea that every 2 years they reassess risks, they look at what's new. They're kind of baking in the idea that what you can defend against today isn't going to be what you defend against tomorrow or 2 years down the track. And we're obviously seeing a lot of evolution and revolution when it comes to this. In fact, New South Wales government called out AI-enabled attacks as the poster child of how fast these things are evolving. So this is going to be a whole of government thing. It's meant to give agencies extra support, extra knowledge in how to react to a breach. It seems pretty comprehensive from what I've read so far. Jihad Dib, who is the Minister for Customer Service and Digital Government, said cyber threats are evolving faster and becoming more sophisticated. That's why multiple government agencies have collaborated on this strategy. So New South Wales is more resilient and better placed to stay ahead. With more people relying on digital government services than ever before, protecting data and maintaining trust is essential. I've got to say, though, it feels odd that I'm sure they've had something in place before. But and we know that government is very much a target of both financially motivated and otherwise motivated threat actors. So it's great to see New South Wales stepping up on this one.
100%.
Marie Patan, Cybersecurity New South Wales Executive Director, said the strategy is based on strengthening our approach to cyber resilience. In the past 12 months, we've focused on collaborating closely with Chief Information Security Officers, which has made this strategy possible. With the strategy now in place, we've strengthened our foundations to meet the current risk environment and support ongoing security measures to meet whatever the future may hold. Sound like a good one to you?
I think so. I mean, I think it was end of last year, maybe even earlier this year, that New South Wales Health report came out that none of them had like a proper cyber plan in place for an attack.
Yeah, that was while I was still away, so you and Daniel have covered that one.
Yeah, so if this applies to that as well, I'm not sure if it's
they're
all
a government agency,
so I guess it's responding on that. I mean, I think it's always a good thing if they're, trying. It's just to see if it works.
I do like this from Mr. Dib. As cyber threats become more complex, set and forget is not an option. This strategy allows us to adapt and respond to the ever-changing cyber risk landscape. I mean, I've been covering this now for 3 and a bit years, and it's already very different from what I was originally covering. A lot of it's still the same, but there's these evolutions and revolutions and things, and it's just going to continue to go that way. So having something where that kind of I guess you'd call it dexterity is baked in is absolutely a good move as far as I'm concerned. Bravo, New South Wales government.
Best state.
And I promised we'd get some crimes.
Yes.
Okay, so this one's an overseas one. Nike. Are you a Nike person?
I'm not.
No, neither
not
am
really
I.
a sneaker girl.
I haven't worn sneakers for a long time.
Honestly just
even when I exercise, I wear my goddamn tacty shoes.
Sometimes I've run in these many times.
Hey, nothing wrong with a good Doc Marten.
Oh, these ones.
If you can't do it in a Doc Marten, it's not worth doing.
100% agree. These are like my 4th ones. They've been like my go-to shoes for years.
Yeah, I used to wear Doc Martens religiously, but they only lasted me like a year because I'm very hard on my shoes. Even
well,
my
that's why I
Docs.
switch out which ones I wear. I have these like heeled ones. Oh,
they are
so
nice.
Cute.
I do like those
they're
ones.
So pretty.
But there's nothing like a new pair of Docs, right?
I'm getting a new pair tomorrow.
That air cushion is like, bounce.
And then you start bleeding on your feet while you break them in. So
okay, that's less good.
Yeah.
If no one out there has ever worn a new pair of Docs before, I recommend it.
They're the best
whole
shoes.
Thing. Anyway, Nike. We're not talking Doc Martens. We're talking Nike. WorldLeaks, which is a ransomware group that we've been tracking for some time, listed Nike this week. And bless Nike, when I contacted them, they got back to me really fast. I expected. Look, when you reach out to a big overseas company like that and you're a small Australian publication, I just imagine like,
skip.
Don't worry about it. But no, we contacted Nike, and Nike is aware of it, and they said, we always take consumer privacy and data security very seriously. We are investigating a potential cybersecurity incident and are actively assessing the situation. Now, WorldLeaks hasn't gone into too much information about what they have, just we've got it.
We have something.
We've got something. We'll publish it if they don't pay us money, which I imagine Nike is almost certainly not going to do.
Maybe.
Unless. But yeah, so WorldLeaks is pretty new. They only showed up this time last year.
Okay.
So they're only about a year old.
Yeah.
They're thought to be a rebrand of Hunters International. These criminals often rebrand. Like there might be a breakup in one group and half of it will form a new group over here or a new group there. Or they'll just rebrand entirely because there might be too much law enforcement heat. So they just set up new infrastructure. Or there are any number of reasons why a group might rebrand like that. But since WorldLeaks came on the stage, they've claimed 116 victims. Its most
in a
recent
year.
Australian one was Kel Campbell, a New South Wales petroleum distributor, and they were hit in the middle of last year. WorldLeaks uses double extortion,
Yeah.
which means they steal data and threaten to publish it, and they also encrypt data
Okay.
and then force you to pay to get it unencrypted.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Wow.
double extortion.
Vicious
And
cycle.
they've gone after Nike. As I said in my article, WorldLeaks has just done it.
Yeah.
Taking a leaf out of Nike's playbook. Closer to home, however, it is in New Zealand, this one. A law firm, I love the name of it too, Langley Twig Law.
That sounds like a cute law firm.
Hi, it's Langley Twig.
Yeah. I would trust them.
Unfortunately, what's happened to them is not cute. Now, Anubis, look, it's easy to hate hackers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're criminals. They take advantage of all kinds of data they get across. If they hack a healthcare center, they're not above going after patient data, what have you. And Anubis is very aggressive in the
Okay.
way they operate.
Yeah.
Last year, I actually got contacted by a member of the group.
Oh, wow.
Pretending to be a journalist who was working
Really?
with them. And I was like, wait a minute. Are you just one of the hackers? Yeah, I'm just one of the hackers. Do you want some data? I'm like, no, I don't. I really, really don't. So they've claimed to hack Langley Twig Law. Now Langley Twig, interestingly, often. So I'll run you through how we do this next time we get a hack and when we can get Tor installed on your laptop, because that's the
Yes.
whole thing. But normally we'll investigate, we'll have a look at the data, we'll compare it. In this case, there's a lot of passports and government IDs
Oh, wow.
they've gotten
Yeah.
from Langley Twig. And it was a simple matter to go, name, Google, you work at Langley Twig, okay, this is the
my
real deal.
God.
And there's quite a bit of this. And when I went to Langley Twig's website, they're across this.
Yeah.
They were already aware of
That's
it,
good.
and they already had an advisory up on the website. So
Okay.
bravo these guys for being really, really proactive in dealing with it. And here's what Langley Twig had to say. On 11 January 2026, our security monitoring software alerted us to unauthorized activity on our computer network. In response, we engaged our IT support provider to take immediate steps to contain the issue. Basically, they switched off their network.
Yeah.
They looked at their backups, made sure they were secure, and then restored from backup. They've gotten hold of digital forensics experts to have a look at who the attacker is and what the data was compromised. They're doing
Seems pretty on top of
everything
it.
right.
Yeah.
And I reached out to them to say, hey, I had a look at the data. Do you have any more comment on this? They've not gotten back to me, but
They're focusing on some
they're
stuff.
doing their work.
Yeah.
We're currently working with digital forensics and cyber incident response specialists to identify what information was copied from the server, passports.
Yep.
Once this is done, we'll contact affected clients and discuss steps they may wish to take as a consequence. And I dare say they'll do that. They've
Yeah.
contacted the Office of the Privacy Commissioner and New Zealand Police. But Anubis are already just listing passports, documents, all this
Yeah.
stuff. And they're really... They like to editorialize. So they'll write a whole essay on what they've
Really?
found.
Wow.
It's kind of... On the one hand, when you're dealing with a hacking group
Yeah.
where it's like, we've got data and that's it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, that's not a lot to work with.
Yeah, true.
Anubis gives us almost too much to work with. In
Wow.
fact, they're so aggressive. I often don't like to quote too much of what they're saying.
Really?
Look at it this way. So here's what they said about
Yep.
this particular hack on January 25. This is
Okay.
when they uploaded. So you would presume from the initial incident to this, there may have been negotiations going on.
Yeah.
We don't know. But here's what Anubis said once they posted data. The leaked data provides insight into the company itself and its financial position. The data set includes financial reports, employee compensation records, and related documentation. For the company's employees, leaked data includes more than just salary information. The materials also contain passport details and other personal documents. So you see, these guys get really personal.
Yeah.
Very, very personal. I think it was last year when Daniel and I first became aware of them. They hacked a Victorian healthcare centre and they found security camera footage, CCT footage of a patient passing out in
my
the
God.
practice.
Yeah.
And they published that online. And it's just,
Jeez.
at the risk of being bleeped, they're assholes.
Yeah.
Absolutely assholes. Yeah, like of all of the ransomware groups that I know of and dislike, I think I dislike these guys the most.
Yeah, valid.
Yeah, very, very valid. And they've been around since February. They're thought to be Russian speaking, but their English is excellent. You can normally
Okay.
tell when an outfit is when English isn't their first language, but these guys are quite proficient.
Do you reckon they would have
They've
written it with AI?
so far racked, they may have.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible, actually. They've racked up 46 victims worldwide. Their most recent one in Australia was, again, medical practice, Laidley Family Doctors, which they listed December last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll go after anyone. They are
I
completely
feel
unscrupulous.
Obviously, any type of attacking a company is bad. You know, don't attack Nike, don't attack anyone. But medical seems like a real low.
It is a
you know.
It's a very low blow.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's a real perfect storm in healthcare. You've got a lot of legacy hardware you can't get rid of because you need it.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of legacy network stuff because you can't afford to upgrade it. You don't have a lot of cybersecurity expertise, especially in smaller healthcare operations like medical centers and what have you.
Yeah.
And the data being held, obviously, is some of the most personal data you can find.
Yeah.
It can be quite
gross.
sickening when you're investigating one of these hacks. Like I said, you look up passport details, you look up names, you look to be able to correlate the data. When it's medical data, it's like, I don't want to look at that.
Yeah,
I don't need to see this. I don't need to see it.
This is like gross.
Some threat actors are kind of play it both ways. They'll redact a document as they publish it for evidence.
Yeah.
With the threat being that when they do publish it, it'll be unredacted and who cares?
A lot of other
but it's
documents.
like, we're not going to go too hard yet.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But
I don't know if it makes it better.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen drug testing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very, very personal stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, last year's Janaea hack, which is before your time working here, but you would have seen in the news.
Probably, yeah.
That was a fertility clinic.
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember this.
I mean, not only was the data itself
so
personal.
Yeah.
The attack actually interfered with the operation of Janaea itself. And so fertility treatments needed to be delayed. And fertility treatments aren't something
disgusting.
you just do off bat. You've got to time these things.
Yeah.
So
that's horrible. That's really
That was an interesting
yuck.
one because we weren't allowed to report on the actual data that was compromised because they took out an injunction.
Oh,
which
really?
I don't blame them for. It's very sensitive
Yeah.
data. But the hackers don't care. It was all published online. And
True.
basically, if you were a patient of Janaea, then your data's out there,
Wow.
which is just
That's
a horrible
heartbreaking.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a friend reach out who was impacted by another healthcare hack last year, Spectrum Medical Imaging.
Oh, wow. So like
X-rays and stuff.
Jeez.
So not only was all that imaging compromised,
Yeah.
but some of the medical correspondence around that imaging.
Wow.
Yeah, so results and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
actually
you will grow to hate these people the longer you report on them.
I feel like I already do. That's disgusting.
Good, excellent. That is a healthy attitude.
Imagine if I was like,
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to hack Nike and say, we're going to publish all of your financial records.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Power to the people, hack the Gibson, yay. But to go after poor people who are just wanting to have a kid and who may have issues about that and they're looking for help, and you go, yeah, that's a payday.
Yeah, that's a whole separate type of flow.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a couple of hacks, both local and overseas. Now, we had a chat. We always have a chat, either me, Dan, or me and Bethany or whoever beforehand about what we're going to be talking about. And I said, I did a tabletop exercise recently and I want to talk about that. And Bethany's like, what did you say?
I said, what is a tabletop exercise?
Boy, is Bethany about to find out.
Okay. Locked in.
Locked in, yes. Cool. So you're familiar with D&D?
Yes.
You sit down at a table, you take on a character, and you role play your way through what my friends and I often refer to a racially motivated home invasion.
Okay.
We're going to the dungeon to kill goblins and take their stuff.
Yeah.
What have the goblins ever done to you?
True.
But a cybersecurity tabletop exercise is kind of the same, but you sit down and you either take your own role within a company or another person's role, and you role play through a cybersecurity incident. So I might be the chief technical officer.
Yeah.
You might be the cloud security operations person. You might have somebody as the CEO. It could be the people in their actual roles. You might shift it around, as I said. But the whole thing is to work out how you respond in a tabletop exercise before the real thing happens.
Okay. Cool.
Now, it could be a fictional thing. The one that I did recently was we sat in the company who ran it for us, Rubric, created a fictional company, gave us all titles and characters. I was the cloud operations manager.
Okay.
I think I was one of the more sensible people.
Okay.
And it was about a half dozen other journalists, all taking on roles, and it was fascinating. So tabletop exercises I've known about for a while when it comes to cybersecurity, but never had the chance to run through one.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, I think every company should do it.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the times they're quite expensive to run, but the Australian Signals Directorate actually has an out of the box tabletop exercise that anyone can download and run.
Yeah.
And it was eye opening.
Yeah.
One, cybersecurity journos know a lot about cybersecurity.
Whoa, no way.
Who knew?
Who would have
Because the
thought?
way it works, the way this one worked is we got to watch scene 1, which is a video of it happening, which is like, oh, they're in the network. Oh my God, call everyone together.
Yeah.
And scenes 2, 3, and 4 were as the situation develops. And we had a script.
Fun. Wait, that sounds fun.
It really was.
We should
And the
do
script
one.
was, some of the characters weren't up to exactly what they were doing. Some were. And you're reading through it and going, well, that person's not doing right. And then at the end of that scene, stop and talk through what was done well, what was done wrong,
actually
what
sounds
could be
really
done
fun.
better.
Yeah.
And like from the first scene, we're like, what the hell is the chief technical officer doing? Are they smoking crack? And even the person doing that going, yeah, I must be smoking crack. This is a dumb thing. I would never do this. And discuss that element of the initial response. Were they taking it seriously enough?
Yeah.
Could they have moved faster? And then the second scene, more developments happen. The threat actors make contact. In this case, it was shiny hunters. I thought that was quite clever. A real world hacking group. And you start to see the knock-on effects of what's happening at this fictitious company. Yeah. It was a major retailer, and all of their FPOS systems are offline. So they're losing money as the event is rolling on.
Wow.
And go through that third scene, go through the fourth scene, and then the fifth scene is another video as everything's getting really bad. Yeah. And then it's a discussion of, well, would you pay up if that were the case?
Wow.
And around the table, everyone was like, nope. Heck no.
Yeah.
But it was fascinating, one, just to see how they roll out, to see just what value that might have to any organization that hasn't thought it through yet.
Yeah.
They could have a playbook. A lot of companies, big companies, they'll have a cybersecurity playbook that says, if you're hacked, turn to page 1. and it goes, okay, we need to contact these people. We need to get lawyers in. We need to be doing this. And it's all laid out. But until you act upon that playbook, you don't know if it's going to work.
True.
In one case, it's that I heard about, someone's playbook was on a server that had been encrypted in the attack.
Oh
Therefore,
my God.
they couldn't access it.
Yeah.
And
wow,
now,
what do you even do in that situation?
Well, that's why you're on a tabletop, to find out those little things that you can't possibly understand until you play through an incident which is happening semi-live. It was absolutely fascinating. And I actually had a chance to sit down and chat with the person who ran us through it, who was Niraj Naidu, head of sales and engineering at Rubrik. And the one question I was really interested about was, as I said, not every company can afford this. And he was the person who pointed out that the ASD have their own thing. And he said, cyber resilience should not be viewed as a luxury reserved for the enterprise. There are several ways for smaller organizations to build this muscle memory without needing a massive budget. I like that, muscle memory. Yeah. If you play through it, you start to understand your responses. Yeah. You're
familiar.
You're familiar with it. Yeah. It's not so much of a surprise. He said SMBs can make excellent use of free public resources, such as the ASD's Exercise in a Box toolkit. I've got to admit, I'm kind of tempted to download that. Yeah. And as part of a
we should
pod,
do it.
we do it.
We should
we
do
it
that.
live.
That's fun. Okay,
Cool, excellent.
Stay
Let us know
tuned.
in the comments or contact us if you think that's a great idea to find out what kind of idiots we are. The Exercise in a Box toolkit, which provides structured scenarios specifically designed for smaller teams to work through at their own pace. He also suggested micro drills, where a team spends 20 minutes each month working through what-if scenarios. What would we do today if Cyber Uncut, Cyber Daily were hacked? What would we do? 20-minute chat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, and you start to come up, has
Just
reader data
plant
been
the seed.
compromised? Can we post news? Are we, all these little things. Just starts to get your noggin thinking through it. Yeah. And I do say that by focusing limited resources on protecting and recovering the crown jewels, the crown jewels is a cybersecurity phrase about the most important stuff. Okay. So if you're a retailer, your most important thing is the ability to do business, to keep making sales. Because if you can't do that, you start losing money like that. If you're a healthcare org, your crown jewels are patient data. Yeah. So sitting down and going out, what is the thing we must protect most? What is our number one priority? Yeah. Even asking that question is really, really useful. Yeah. And he says by doing this, smaller firms can achieve a significant leap in resilience through simple, consistent, and focused role play. Now, the person, the PR outfit that organized this said they're going to definitely do more. Yeah. Would you like to go along to one?
Yes.
I
That
think you
sounds
should.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so good.
That sounds cool. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I feel like I don't know why that's not like something that everyone does.
Well, they're quite
it
common.
seems quite like
Yeah,
realistic.
so I've actually been working with Thala's cybersecurity. They do a lot of tabletops of their own, and I've been basically playing a tame journalist. So they'll be doing an exercise, and I'll dial in and go, "Hi, my name's David Hollingworth. I'm a journalist from," and I'll do the whole thing.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, and then so is there anyone I can chat to?
Yeah.
I'll ask them the questions that I normally ask.
Yeah.
They'll answer however they think is best in the thing, and then after that initial role play is done, I'll sit down and go, okay, do you have any questions about why I'm asking those things or what will happen next?
Yeah.
And so I'll walk through them, what I'm looking for in an article. I'll tell them that, saying no comment may not do you many favors. And things like that. They are such a useful tool, but a lot of people think that they're out of reach of most SMBs.
Yeah.
And as Naidu said, no, they're not.
Yeah, they're there.
They're there. Make use of them.
Yeah.
They're really, really quite good.
Cool.
And on that note, it's time for a second break. We shall be back in a moment. And welcome back to Cyber Uncut. This is the goodish news bit.
Yeah.
Look,
I think so.
Daniel and I always struggle to find good news in the cybersecurity landscape, but we do have some, at least not very, very bad news this time. So we're going to start close to home and e-safety and the social media ban, because of course that's back in the news. It's never going to be out of the news for a bit. And e-safety is actually looking for feedback on it.
Yeah.
What feedback do you have if they asked you and if the page actually
On the
opened?
ban?
Yeah.
No, mine's not working either.
Oh, great. Live on the podcast, we're having an IT failure.
Whoa.
Excellent. I love this for me.
Well, I actually was writing about the ban today in something that I was writing about how the parents of primary school aged children are wanting the government to take more action for children's data. So even if they are a part of the ban, they're still technically kids. Like if you're 16 to 18, you're still legally a child.
Yep.
And they were saying that even though the ban's good, there still needs to be more done to protect kids.
Yeah, it's like the ban is like only half the issue.
Yeah.
And
the
the
ban
government's
is
not
only
doing
helping the kids,
much
like
else,
taking the
pardon
kids
me.
out,
Yeah.
not the actual threats
Yeah.
around it. So
I can't believe the website's just failing me completely.
oh my
Not
God, maybe we're
either?
getting hacked.
That's us knocking wood. Well, veneer at the very least.
Yeah,
Well, while
something.
the site struggles, there it goes, just working the turkey through apparently. Here's what Julian Grant had to say. We at eSafety are gathering info about the rollout of the social media minimum age laws and want to hear directly from Australians about their experiences. While the early data is encouraging, we want to ensure compliance, safety, and improve industry performance. This will continue to happen over time now that almost 5 million deactivations took place in December. 5 million!
Yeah.
That's a lot of kids who are suddenly being
lot of
told,
kids.
go outside and play.
Yeah.
Who
Well, I
are
had
now
to-
invading golf courses on their e-bikes.
Oh my God, yes. I had to get I had to age verify myself for my Substack the other day.
No crap.
Yeah. I went to log on.
Yep.
And it was like, we need a facial scan or a license. And I
Wow.
was like, oh,
So what'd you
okay.
do?
I did like a facial,
Facial
scan.
scan,
And
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
my God, I don't look 16. Wow.
Is that a yay or nay? It's like,
I don't know.
I look my age.
I don't know.
Damn.
I got ID'd at this pub that me and my friends always go to the
Yep.
other day for the first time ever. We've been going there for like a year and a half,
Yeah.
and they ID'd me. I'm 21, by the way, not 18.
Last year, so every year there's the IT Journalism Awards, and last year I
Yeah.
was nominated for Cybersecurity Journalist and didn't get it. I'm fine about this, by the way. I'm fine. Don't ask.
Ooh.
And there's always a kick-on afterwards
Yeah.
to the Piedmont Bridge Hotel.
Okay.
That is the spiritual home of post-ITJ drinks. And I figured, I'm going to beat the rush. I'm going to go there now. I'm going to find a chair, going to have a drink, and I'll hang
Nice.
out with folks. So
Yep.
I rock up. Where's your ID, mate? Don't have any. Can't let you in. And I looked at him and I went, do you think I'm young? For those who aren't watching the YouTube, I do not look young at all.
Yes,
I'm
you
an old,
do.
craggy, grey-haired
No.
guy.
Young.
And he's just like, nah, need photo ID, can't come in. And
Really?
I was bummed.
So did you just-
I was
so you
so
just-
bummed.
so you
Just
didn't
wouldn't
get
let
in?
me in. Just didn't care that I was
Wow.
clearly not an 18-year-old. He was just a small man with a small amount of power,
Yeah.
I'm saying, and apparently will never be let into the Piedmont Bridge Hotel again.
Keep your license on.
But yes, so the eSafety Commissioner
anyway.
has shared a form online asking Australians to provide feedback on the social media ban.
Mm-hmm.
and ask any adults who know of an under 16 using a social media account to report them to the social media platform they're using.
That is so funny.
In other words, oh God, they're wanting people to
dob on
kids in.
That's so funny. I'm sorry.
Whether I don't think I could bring myself to do that. I'd feel like too much of a narc.
Yeah.
Like I know folks who are absolutely assisting their kids to stay on social media.
Really?
Yeah. Like whenever the prove your age, the parents have come in for them and said,
No
"Yeah, I'll
way.
verify you."
Wow. See, I don't disagree with the ban. I think in theory it's a good idea, but I don't think I would adopt someone in. I feel like that's a really slack move because it's like I get it. Like if you're like 16 and you just like want to go on Instagram, like yeah, I want to do that still, and I did that when I was 16 as well. So
yeah.
like I don't want to like take that away, but I think it is important still.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's two ways to look at it.
Yeah, it is a bit like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But also, speaking of Inman Grant, she picked up a public service medal as part of the Australia Day Honours.
There you go.
For her work on spearheading the world first social media ban.
Yeah.
She said, "It's overwhelming and it's an extraordinary honour. We're the first, and for the first 7 years, we're the only online safety regulator in the world." And she's super proud about those nearly 5 million disabled accounts and wanting people to dob in kids.
The dobbing in part.
Yeah,
is
I know.
a bit
That's
weird.
doing my head in. Is it really is quite
I
strange.
wonder who would do that. I mean, like even I feel like I haven't seen any person like on the train or the metro or whatever. I don't think I've seen any like clearly 16 or under person not on Evo. Like
I don't see too many teens traveling on my commute anyway.
I do in the morning at the
you?
station. Yeah.
Oh, what, kids going to school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone on the metro line I take, Sydenham to Victoria Cross.
Me too.
It's purely tired people like
Yeah,
myself, trying to head down in their
Yeah.
phones, either reading a book or playing a game, or trying to ignore the fact in 20 minutes' time they're going to be in the office.
At work. Yeah.
That is absolutely me. But yeah, so I'd dob in a kid, I guess. You heard it here first. Or second or third.
That's your call. That's
That is your call. Dob in a kid if you feel that's the right thing to do. We won't judge you much.
Yeah.
The other big news this week is it's World Privacy Week, and on Jan 28 it was World Privacy Day.
Yeah.
Was it Jan 27? I
think it was 26.
That was Australia Day.
Yeah.
One day this week was World Privacy Day, but the week is definitely World Privacy
It's this week. Yeah.
And as we always do, we like to gather commentary and advice from industry experts. So we thought we might leave you with some of those for World Privacy Week. Beth, kick us off.
Hey, we got Electronic Frontiers Australia.
Good one.
Yeah, they were telling a lot of Australians to take more care from data breaches because they're a real threat. So their chair, John Payne, said, "This World Privacy Day, we want Australians to stop feeling helpless about the privacy paradox," in quotes, and start pushing back against the convenience trap. Most Australians value their privacy deeply, yet they find themselves clicking accept all or avoid reading an organisation's privacy policy simply because it looks like it was written in Elvish and would take more than 20 minutes to read, let alone understand.
Hey, I can read some Elvish.
Don't you have Elvish?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, for the people that we are on camera. Yeah, there's my Elvish that I can definitely read right now.
What does it say?
And you know how a lot of people, when they get a made-up language and they just, it won't actually be in the language, it's just using the type. This actually says something in Elvish. It says, Ore enteluva.
Very cool.
Which means day shall come again. It's deeply nerdy.
But
yeah, don't make fun of Elvish.
I'm not, but you know what I will say?
John Payne, don't make fun of Elvish.
I've never seen it.
You have said this before, and
I've
we're
never
not
seen
getting
it.
into it now.
I have this argument with my best friend all the time because she loves it. Anyway.
We're going to start up the Lord of the Rings podcast at Momentum Media, and you will definitely be forced to watch a lot of it.
You know what? That's okay. He also added that the growth in the data breaches that we're seeing a lot more is to a lot of different issues, like obviously social media reform and AI. But there were some other ones I thought were interesting that he said. He said poor regulation in big tech, which is predictable. But then the two other ones that I thought were very interesting were geopolitical consideration and values.
Yep.
And then this is a quote from him as well, bullying from the White House. Which,
nice.
Hey, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
No, that is a good one.
And then he also said that, this is a quote from him, "This isn't a personal failure or laziness on the part of the consumers. It's the result of historically weak privacy laws passed by successive Australian governments who surrendered to the siren song of big tech and big business and in their interest groups. Profit, productivity and prosperity for all." Which
I like
he's kind
John.
of hit,
I've
he's
covered
hit the nail on the head.
quite a bit of his commentary. And John, if you're listening, one, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Two, we would love to have you on as a guest
Oh,
on the podcast.
100%. I love the bullying from the White House quote.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The Bolshe folks at Cyber Uncut appreciate your straightforward manner and would love to have you as a guest.
Yeah.
Please reach out. So here's a brief one that I like. This
Yeah.
is Ken Bratz. He's Chief Technical Officer at Support Ninja, which is a great name for a company.
Yeah, it's cute.
But I just love this. The safest data is the data you never store. AI doesn't need social security numbers or credit card details to be effective. In fact, holding on to that kind of personal data just makes you a target. The real opportunity is using clean, connected, non-sensitive data to deliver better customer experiences without putting people at risk. I just love that. The safest data is the data you never store. I mean, that's so clear.
It's
such a great way of putting it. Do you have another one you'd like that caught your eye?
Let's have a look. Jeff Park, from ANZ Country Manager at Seagate, said, "This Privacy Day, it is worth recognizing the simple truth. Once data has value, it must be protected. And with AI proliferating, both its volume and values are rising exponentially." So, he also said, AI doesn't exist without data, and data doesn't exist without storage. Protecting the value of data starts at its core, how it's stored, managed, and safeguarded.
Yeah. It's funny because AI featured strongly unsurprisingly throughout all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, so CISA, the United States Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, they've got a new head. He must know a lot about cybersecurity because one of the first things he did was upload sensitive contracts to ChatGPT and compromise them.
There you go.
Bravo, security guy.
I feel like I saw that somewhere.
I want to write about it, but I don't think I can bring myself to write about yet another dumb Trump move.
Yeah.
But so final word we're going to give to Drew Bagley. He's VP and Counsel Privacy and Cyber Policy at CrowdStrike. And he said that Data Privacy Day is a reminder that privacy and cybersecurity rise or fall together, and those strategies must always be aligned. With AI becoming embedded across the enterprise and driving workflows and constant data movement, we almost take for granted the new paradigm for access and sharing of data. But real protection, he said, depends on visibility, privacy by design, and resilience that operates in real time. I mean, all of this stuff is essential. There's so much more advice that we've got in the 2 World Privacy Day features we've done. Also, here's something for all the PRs out there who send me this stuff. You know, I got yesterday alone, day before alone, I got 10 emails with, please include these quotes in these stuff you do. It's the day of the day. Yeah. I've had people contacting me since Jan 20, and you're wondering why I'm not doing all of it. Yeah. So PRs out there, get in early. That's how you get yourself covered. And there may be more Data Privacy Day content coming up tomorrow, if I can get around to it, because this week has been brutal for news, hasn't
really
it?
Tired.
Yeah,
I'm really tired.
Well, on that note, how about we sign off there? Thank you for joining me, Bethany.
Thank you for having me again.
We'll be back next week, either myself and Bethany, or myself and Dan, or possibly if I get run over by a truck, it'll be Bethany and Dan. In fact, the week after it will be Bethany and Dan, because I'm going to be in Montreal for work.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Montreal. Yeah.
Ah, fun.
From Feb 8, I'm there for a press event.
No way.
Yeah. From work.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. Mind you, I have to go, it's Sydney to the US, US to US, US to Montreal. So that's a lot of time in the air.
I drove into Montreal.
Crappy airports. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, from New York.
It means I have to go through US Customs and Immigration, which I'm not looking forward to at all.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 12 below of an evening.
That's so cool. I love that.
I am looking forward to that.
What US cities are you stopping in?
Charlotte and one other.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not really paying attention to it because I'm trying not to pay too much attention to it. Yeah. I'm hoping to be vaguely half cut through that entire sequence of the trip. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'll be visiting the offices of physical security company Genetec.
Cool.
With their World Press Day. That's going to be great. I've never been to Montreal, and there's so much great history there.
It's so beautiful.
I suspect there might be some good food.
Yeah.
Really
100%. 100% get the poutine.
Anyway, so that week you will definitely have Dan and Bethany joining you. I'll be back next week. Thank you for listening to us. You can find us on Cyber Daily. You can find us on all the socials. You can sign up for our newsletter at Cyber Daily as well. And on that note, thanks for listening. We'll be back.